I think it's funny that the Detroit News calls itself the city's conservative voice when it hasn't even endorsed a Republican for president in 15 years.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Now, I don't care what a pack of weasels working at a dying newspaper thinks much about anything. But what I do mind is them using a Democrat hitman posing as a nonpartisan pollster in order to spread political propaganda.
I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
Well, that's him, Richard Zuba, principal of the Glengarriff Group. He picked Kamala beating Donald by 3. That didn't happen. He's also the subject of a criminal referral where it's alleged that he laundered $750,000 into a campaign headed by, now wait for it, the wife of Attorney General Dana Nessel. I kid you not. Ken, roll the tape.
Now, charities are not required to disclose who gave them money or who they gave money to. It's a perfect way to keep names quiet. But it's illegal for the charity to be working in lockstep with a campaign.
We will come for you.
So the Secretary of State alleges it went like this. Donors gave money to a registered charity called Bipartisan Solutions, or BS for short. BS then gave money to Nessel's wife campaign committee called Fair and Equal Michigan. Then Fair and Equal Michigan turned around and cut a 5-figure check to Freddie's company the very next day after getting the exact amount of money from BS.
Sounds like a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yes, thank you. You will get rich quick. We all will.
And then Nessel made the charges against her wife go away. And now she's facing charges in front of the House of Representatives. And the news is pollster? Those weasels never told you about them.
It's not a lie. If you believe it.
And the most sure way to cancel your subscription to the news is to cancel your credit card. And remember, if you can't sleep, get the news. If you want the news, enjoyer.com. Still 100% free.
Now let me just go over this again for you people. This is important because this is one of the reasons Dana Nessel is going to go down. It starts with you being tricked, where the press, the politicians, and the pollsters are all secretly working together to manipulate you. This is actual news. The Detroit News, which clings to the pretense that it's Michigan's conservative voice, again, as you've heard, has not endorsed the Republican candidate, Trump, for the past 15 years. Like cowards, weasels. I mean, you know, that's fine by me because I don't read the paper anyhow. I canceled it years ago. Most people have. But occasionally, the news publishes something that makes its way around and gets repeated often enough that it becomes the general consensus. Things like political polls. Now, Richard Zuba, as you saw, founder of the, listen to this, because they're not gonna fix any of it. So remember this and be smart. Richard Zuba, founder of the Glengarriff Group, is the pollster for both the news and WDIV. They quote him in print. They interview him on TV. They write things like this from Richard Zuba. Mike Duggan is a kingmaker in the U.S. Senate race. Michigan race for governor deadlocked. What the paper hasn't told you is that Zuba is the subject of a criminal referral drafted by Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, no less, accused of raising and laundering more than $750,000 into the campaign coffers of a 2020 gay rights campaign co-chaired by Alana McGuire. It's no small detail that McGuire is the wife of Attorney General Dana Nessel, a hyper-partisan Democrat. For her part, Nessel stands accused by the Michigan House Oversight Committee of tanking that investigation into Zuba and her own wife. Nessel herself may soon face impeachment charges by the House of Representatives. Follow me so far? Mm-hmm. To this day, the Detroit News's political writers have not disclosed the incestuous affair to the public. Zuba, it is alleged, was the paid middleman who collected dark money from DTE's political arm and funneled it into McGuire's campaign. Instead of divulging his name, the paper uses the name of Zuba's now defunct advocacy organization, Bipartisan Solutions. Wow. Would somebody please explain to me what is bipartisan about a pollster raising money for some of the most powerful and most connected Democrats in the state? And I ain't a Republican. I'm just giving you the truth. So don't send me bullshit on social media. Either accept it, consider it, or fuck off. Meanwhile, the news has spilled barrels of ink on a very, very similar story. Very similar indeed. A conservative group, Unlock Michigan, pushed a ballot initiative back in 2020 looking to repeal Governor Gretchen Whitmer's emergency COVID powers. People involved with raising money for that initiative were criminally referred by Benson to Nessel, accused of laundering dark money in order to conceal donor identities. Nessel brought charges on that one, which carries up to 14 years in prison and potentially millions of dollars in fines. That case is in the courts. It's ongoing. Somebody's fighting for her life, and the news can't get enough of it. But the case of the Attorney General, her wife, and the nonpartisan pollster? Do cricket for me. We don't have a sound effect? Okay, there you go.
In post.
I don't know. Sounds like a story to me. But there's another question. Is Zuba even good at polling? I called him to ask. Again, crickets. But there's this. There's a little reportage going on here. The News published a Glengarriff poll just a week before the 2024 election. Zuba had Kamala Harris beating Donald Trump by 3%. Trump, in fact, beat Harris by 1.5%. In the Michigan Senate race, Zuba had Alyssa Slotkin beating Mike Rogers by 4.5%. Slotkin actually beat Rogers by just 0.3%. Both results were outside the poll's margin of error, pumping up the left, diminishing the right. Basically, the poll was toilet paper. Did Zuba's poll sway voter turnout? Not likely, since almost no one reads the news anyway. Still, it's farcical when you know what's going on under the sheets, and now you know. And if you want to cancel your subscription, one more time, to the Detroit News, it is easiest to cancel your credit card to avoid the financial loop the newspaper puts you through. And if you want real news, subscribe to the Enjoyer newsletter, still 100% free. I'm here with longtime newsman Tom Jordan, who now be heard drive time 4 to 7 on 103.5. Is that right, Tom?
It is right.
How are you, dude?
I'm fantastic.
Well, what do you make of that? I mean, the nexus. Are we being told the truth?
No, we haven't been for a long time. And I noticed this shift taking place. You know, when journalism, the reason why I joined that industry in the first place back in the 90s, and I had a passion for writing, and I thought, what kind of writing do I enjoy most? And for me, I'm more of a data guy, so it was the more objective. Here are the facts. Start off with the climax at the top, the inverted pyramid and all. I loved journalism because it was just fact, data-driven stuff. And the whole point of a journalist was to serve the public. It was never meant to shape the public. You know, we were trying to inform them so people can make a decision based on the facts of a matter. That started to shift, in my view, in my own experience, right after, I think, 9/11, 2001, when the moral, I guess, majority in this country started to use emotionalism more when they wanted to hear something that was more emotional and they can show some sort of compassion to someone they had been told about someone they've been told was maybe a threat to this country. And I'm portraying, this is what I noticed was after 9/11 was when suddenly we had to realize, and I spoke to many a journalist about this very fact. You know, the United States, we deserved 9/11. These are what reporters behind the scenes were starting to discuss in our newsrooms. This is back on the West Coast. And I thought, well, what do you mean by that? Well, we're kind of a white supremacist country, and we're targeting people of color in other nations. We shouldn't do that. Colonialism, all that. So we deserve to be, 2,000 plus people being killed in the towers and all. Anyway, so this started to really shift, I think, what journalists thought they were. They became activists, and they had a goal. They had an end game in mind, and that was to right wrongs the way they saw it. So they were no longer, they became participants in whatever the scheme was. And I have my theories as to why that I think it's been percolating for many years. But what's happened now is now it's just a flat out admission in newsrooms that we're here to fight for a cause. We're here to shape opinion. We don't believe there are two sides to the story. We think there's one side that's wrong and there's the one side that's right.
You know about Jim Rutenberg's famous column on the front page of the New York Times about Trump coming is very unusual, which we call calls for unusual reporting. The old standards of objectivity
are gone.
You have to fight it. I might go back to you around the turn of the century. Could be more nefarious than that because I know journalists. I'm a reporter. Mm-hmm. Journalists like to think there's something. They went to Ivy League now, right?
Right.
And they think they sit at the table and they have big minds and world travelers and they speak languages and they can make decisions. So they actually sit at the leg of the powerful. They get used like a dog as long as their neck scratched and the crumb fall, right? So this is when NAFTA takes place. Mm-hmm. NAFTA was a swindle. That was and WTO and China coming into free trade, This was garbage. If you're from Detroit or any working place, you knew it was going to be garbage. Like Ross Perot, the giant sucking sound. The media went with this shit, both sides of it. This is going to be great for everybody. Look at the price of your TV. And I'm like, well, you better go get 5 of those and put them in your attic because you ain't going to be afford them in 25 years, which is where we're at. And everybody's bitching about it. And then the artifice, the lies, the concealing of the reasons to go into Iraq. And they went with it.
Right.
The New York Times manufactured it, in fact.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then now you see... Same in Ukraine.
And that was the switch. I think early George W. Bush, his decision to go into Iraq was a huge blunder, and it was built on falsehoods, right? So it wasn't true. The media did at that time bought into it, but then they turned on the W. Bush administration because they felt that they were lied to. Bush said he was lied to as well. He wasn't given the right intelligence, whatever. I think he wanted to go in there for other reasons. He had ulterior motives. His father was going to be assassinated. All these other things.
Watch it just... All the epics in journalism now, like Obama's foreign wanderings and bombings, and executions, and then the pretense for the invasion of Ukraine and what we're doing over there and how we're manipulating things, right?
Yes.
And it's both sides.
Yeah, it is both sides. And Ukraine is a great example of that because suddenly if you don't support the endless war in Ukraine, somehow you're a Soviet. You're a communist sympathizer somehow. When it's like, no, I just think there should be an end to it. We were told, 2 weeks in Ukraine. What is it now? It's February. It's going to be 3 years now coming up. What year is it now? 2026? Is it 2026 already? All right, wow. So it's been 4 years in Ukraine.
So, I don't know, man. I'm like left to center, I'm for free speech and then you're spying on me and shutting down my social media account.
Right.
And I'm for military action when it's necessary and when it's in our interest and we have an end game to it.
Okay, so you just said something.
So what is this forever fucking war?
So you're left of center. I'm right of center. You and I have more agreement than I think what the Democratic Party used to be and what the Republican Party I think used to be. We're more aligned now. When you look back at JFK, that Democrat, that's a different Democrat than what we're seeing today. We are in a globalist society. We are a confused metric. I do believe we've abandoned any sense or realm of truth. I believe there's a standard of truth. I believe biblically, there is a standard right there. And for most of our nation's history, we all agreed on that. Law and order, these are based on biblical precepts and principles, and it makes sense. It's for the individual's safety, the individual's freedom and liberty, right? Individual.
Okay.
We've bought into this whole collectivism kind of a mindset and ideology.
I'm collective. I'm like this. I'm driving. It's snowing like a motherfucker out there, right? I'm driving cool. And nobody waving. Like, thanks, brother. I'm like, what a dick. Oh, are you Mario Andretti? You know what I mean? You're not a good driver.
But that's not collectivism.
It's because I'm a good driver that you're not fucking in a pole. Collectively, where's the fucking plows in Detroit today? Where's the plows? Where's the fucking plows? That's the collective.
Right. But the plows
hold
help
on,
the individual.
Hold on.
Right? And that helps
with
the
your dialect.
community.
Let's get back to the point here.
Yes.
A guy wrote me this.
Yes, go ahead.
I bought one of your books many years ago. I enjoyed it. You spoke of growing up, your sister's struggle, etc. You seemed objective. You don't anymore. You've skewed far to the right, almost like propaganda. It's sad. To which I wrote, I haven't moved, Andy. Instead of staring in my direction, maybe you need to look inward. Like now I'm right wing.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck is that?
So,
I don't want kids poisoned?
there's another guy that
I'm mad that the plows didn't come out today. The fuck?
Yeah. You haven't moved. The nation, the culture has drastically moved. Far left, I would say, is my view on this.
I don't know.
I think the progressives. I think Woodrow Wilson's dream
I
has
don't
come
know
true.
if that's true. I think
Why not?
Because I think this thing
Yes.
got invented. But
what is being spewed on that thing?
Hold on. It takes little effort
Yes, that's true.
to gather people. Okay, so if you go back to the '60s and you see 10,000 people, marching in Manhattan, now you get pictures of like 5 fat chicks and some dude with a big beard, like standing, making sure my neighbor who's a child rapist doesn't get snatched up.
Completely. Yeah.
Like, notice how everything's cropped?
Yeah, it is.
Everything's cropped, so it looks like it's more than it is.
So the child rapists, they don't care because they didn't do a deep enough dive, 3 sentences in to understand who the guy is, who they're trying to protect.
What are you, a Nazi? What do you got against child rapists? I mean,
it's right, and there's the labels.
everybody deserves a second chance.
But back to what would solve this issue, in my view, would be if there was really objective reporting out there, and that's what was gone out the window. Your whole piece off the top here has everybody is in bed together, the pollsters, the news media, the politicians, and I know that's true. I know that politicians regularly, probably on a daily basis, if they don't like a story, they're calling the program director, the news director, the producer, the editor, whoever it is, and threatening them they're never going to come on their air again unless that person who did that story either repents, apologizes for daring to attack a Democrat in this case.
Well, I'm going to stay middle of the road here. Look, I want campaign finance fraud when you got a huge utility washing money.
Correct.
To both the right and the left. Mm-hmm. And both campaigns are referred for criminal charges, and you only do one?
Exactly.
This is fucked up.
Well,
do them both. I support that.
Yeah, of course. Do both sides.
Yeah, clean it
I'm
up.
not against when they went after whatever you reported on 2020, when there was some shenanigans going on within the conservative side, the Republican side of the party. But they don't do it again when it's the Democrat side. That's been caught, and the press won't cover it. Why is that?
We'll get to that right after this.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's the No Bullshit News Hour with my main man, Charlie LeDuff and Karen Dumas.
It's just a breaking news. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
Everybody remember? Oh man, the market up and down like a washwoman's ass on Monday. Yeah. Wow, man, that Greenland thing is really. How do you navigate it? You got to call Luke Nowacki, financial wealth specialist at 248-663-4748. Roll it.
Is this the hole-in-one?
It's a hole-in-one, $50,000 if you hit it.
Luke Nowacki, financial wealth management. What is 50 grand after tax?
37,750.
What about state tax?
Yeah, I'm throw them both in there.
What about sales tax?
There's no sales tax.
Well, you're buying the beer.
It's income.
You'll buy the beer.
We write that off.
Luke Nowacki, Financial Wealth
248-663-4748.
I'm Grace Karros, and I'm third generation of American Coney Island. People say Detroit's a comeback city. I say, where you been? We've been here for over 100 years. My family's been here on the same corner, serving our famous proprietary American Coney Island hot dog. So like always, we're keeping things fresh, updated, and new. We'd love to have you come downtown and visit us, but if you can't, you can always go to AmericanConeyIsland.com, order a Coney kit, get it delivered fresh right to your door.
Man, I opened my Christmas underwear because I ran out of underwear this morning. Do you wash when you get like new underpants? Do you wash them before you put them on?
Yes.
Do you?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, I didn't.
My wife might.
No, I'm feeling something down there. I am feeling something. I'll take some of this Mando. Whole body deodorant. It's acidified for the pits, the feet, and the package. Okay, listen, I just got this box. Actually, I got this box a little while ago. You got whole body deodorant, Pro Sport Invisible Cream deodorant. The stick, it's very acidic. It's nice.
Acidic.
It smells like citrus. And I took the body wash home. Like I told you.
Yeah.
Dude, it's awesome.
Good.
It's awesome. You know, like when you use that shit and it like runs right off.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like you're getting clean.
Yeah, this lathers up.
Yeah. This
Nice.
This kind of
What an
hangs. It
image.
comes
You
off,
lathering.
but you
All
can
right.
feel it. It's nice.
Where do I buy some?
You go shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Special offer for our listeners, 20% off with the exclusive code NOBS at shopmando.com. They actually did soothe. I'm going to have to start washing these. Okay. The joint operating agreement between the Detroit News and the Detroit Free Press has ended. So which paper collapses first, Tom?
Free Press. I don't know for sure. Actually, I think about it because you made a good point earlier. The Detroit News, they're couching themselves as somehow a conservative answer to the very liberal Free Press, and I see them both. I mean, you got Detroit News, you got Washington Post articles, and the way they frame the Republicans, it doesn't matter which one it is. Mike Rogers, it could be Tom Leonard, it could be Donald Trump. There's a negative slant on that. So why are they conservative or what? And then Alyssa Slotkin is propped up as somehow a moderate, middle of the road Democrat who acts more like a conservative when in fact she's also
a deep
a
state
leftist.
war criminal.
She is. I'm with you on that. I mean, I knew people that
because
worked
you
with
read
her in Iraq.
Enjoyer.com and you go there and you get the facts.
Yeah, Enjoyer.com. Seriously, there's good stuff on there. But I know people who were with Alyssa Slotkin in Iraq. And the way she pretends to be this CIA data analyst who is always at the beck and call of both the Obama and the Bush administrations is very far-fetched. It doesn't align with the truth on the ground back then. In
Fallujah,
03, 04.
Abu Ghraib, the USAID, infrastructure projects that don't get done, the rise of ISIS, extrajudicial bombings. Are you kidding me? When she says you don't have to follow illegal orders, what was legal about any of that? Sorry, middle of the road, because I was there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
You were covering that.
Yeah, first of all, I was with the Marines Special Unit looking for the weapons of mass destruction. When there weren't any mission creep, we're here to bring democracy. And I'm like, hey, Colonel, those guys in the clean clothes with the white flags above their head.
Yes.
I think they just came from that tank brigade you were supposed to take out. And he goes, yeah, we're here to deliver democracy. And I looked at Tommy, Sergeant Tommy from Roseville. And I go, holy fuck. This war hadn't started. Ooh. Okay, so, Mark, you were saying about the Free Press. It reads like...
I find a lot of the articles to be like PR releases about really happy things and things going on. And this is, this charity's doing this, which is fine. But... the hard news is few and far between on that paper.
Like stuff out of City Hall. Let's just print it.
Exactly. Yeah. Investigative reporting.
Like the demolition thing is freaking huge. Huge. We demolished 30,000 houses. We don't know how much poison dirt went in there, like very toxic dirt. And Duggan, before he left, said, well, I found out about it. I got a tip, and I referred it to the police. It's like, the tip was from my reporting. The Office of the Inspector Generals are the ones who called the police, and they gave you a nice pat on the ass so not to embarrass you. 30,000 houses. You want me to put this in perspective, what 30,000 houses are?
Yes.
That's, if you demolished all the homes in Flint, that's the scope of it.
Wow.
With poison. Flint, poison. Feel me? And they're doing everything to get rid of it. So, over 10 years, nobody helps me with this. Everybody just forgets about it. And LeDuff, he's a fucking wacko, right? You know. And then the Northland Mall starts getting buried, and it all comes out. And then the current mayor, Mary Sheffield, has a personal relationship. I have to do all that. It's very heavy. Now a couple stories come out. And then you'll get something in the free press like, the city has changed its demolition practices after the free press began inquiring.
Yeah.
There's 200 holes left. It's too late. Well, good one, right? Then the news follows that. And I'm like, here's how they're being manipulated. We've located 500 holes, and we don't plan to test any other. But if a guy, you tested 90 of his holes and 80% of them came back red hot, and he did 2,500 holes, shouldn't we keep looking? Shouldn't we?
Of course.
This is the game.
100%.
And everybody's voting with their feet.
Yeah. Yeah. So I agree with you, Mark. I think that the Free Press does. It is like a PR arm extension of whether it's City Hall or whatever it is, county, whatever you want to, Warren Evans. But I also think they are so corrupt in their the initial start. I mean, their hiring practice. I can remember it's 2020, 2021. They were looking for a politics reporter, a political reporter. And in the ad in the Free Press for the reporter is, our goal is to destroy the Donald Trump administration. And they were going down the list of what qualifies you to be a political reporter for the Detroit Free Press is to go after Donald Trump specifically and take him out.
True?
Oh, I couldn't believe it. I was reading that.
That's the Jim Rutenberg effect.
I couldn't believe what I was reading. I'm like, they think that everybody agrees with them. They're in their own little bubble, that the world now says, you're no longer a reporter, you're now an activist here to save us from harm from Big Orange Bad Man.
Yeah, but then again, the people of Detroit are being poisoned.
Yes.
And you don't want to look at it. Oh, so
there's many manifestations, I think, of evil.
We got somebody in studio. We're going to call him Mr. X. He's over there. Very deep in that demolition world. How bad is it, Mr. X?
Terrible.
Louder.
Absolutely horrible.
How widely has the city been poisoned? Your opinion. Yell it. You don't got a microphone.
All of it.
All of it?
Pretty much.
20,000 holes?
Has to be.
You know, because you stood on them. You stood there. You worked on it.
Correct.
You watched.
Correct.
You're deep in it.
Correct.
Yeah. Deep. Where are we going to get this money? Where are we going to get this money? We're going to have to go to the orange orangutan because Lansing's broke. We're running a deficit. City's broke. They're talking about a sales tax. And you got Sri Tanahar running around, right? I think I said this before, but trying to impeach him every week. And Rashida Tlaib fucking crying all the time. And Alyssa Slotkin saying disobey orders. Yeah. Well, some grown-up's going to have to go to the federal government and say, help the people. They didn't do this. So Lansing can look at Detroit and go, I'm sick of Detroit.
What's the deal? Why?
I love Detroit. I love the people. They didn't do it.
Correct. So what's the deal? Why is this? There's not enough money in fixing the toxic poison? Is that why they're not addressing this?
It's funny. I was on your old show, with Kevin Dietz, WJR. We got a little clip of that.
We do. Yeah.
Let's hear that.
Joining us now is Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and host of the No BS Newshour, Charlie LeDuff, who was first on this story. Good morning, Charlie. How are you?
I'm well. How you call me a reporter, please?
Oh, you're all of those things, all of the above. How did this happen in the first place, that these people were using this contaminated filter?
I think I remember you doing these stories when you were at DIV, didn't you?
I did, yes.
So how long ago was that?
Man, that had to be 10 years ago?
This has been going on a decade. I'm just going to drop that 500 story. Do you really think it's only 500?
No.
No, because you were doing it back then. They shut it down for the dirt. We added the feds in here, a grand jury that never came to a decision for political reasons. Let me give you the scope of this. Did about 30,000 houses, right? That's about the equivalent of every home in Flint being demolished. That's the scope. Now, I know organized crime units going around. It's not going to stop at 500. The guy alone that got thrown off the job, he did 2,500 houses.
Right. Why would he do? Why would he do 2,000 clean and 500 dirty?
Exactly. So here's where they're going. The word is, and believe me, I've been living this a decade. This is a scandal, man. They're taking mud from the Detroit River, PCBs and stuff. They were taking the highways and throwing it into the ground into Detroit. They were taking sludge jobs. They were taking contaminated soil from the dump. And look at these new rules. We're going to start testing these, these pits where they get the dirt every month. They were testing them every year. They were throwing the Northland Mall in the holes. So I suspect this thing's just going to balloon. We put almost $1 billion into this. Now, the new mayor, Mary Sheffield, she had a personal relationship with this contractor who was working without insurance, etc. She helped change the law to get him in there. So what's really going on? You work this telephone, you meet with people. City Hall wants this to go away bad. Duggan wants it to go away badly. And they're trying to corral the media and say, 500 holes. We changed the rules. You changed the rules. There's only 200 houses left.
Right.
You went too fast. Everybody took their piece. Duggan got his headlines. And now you're about ready, sir, to get the real headlines.
That about right, Mr. X?
Sounds about right to me.
Corruption.
It's corruption. Hasn't gone away.
No, and that's
and listen,
point of the press.
Kevin Dietz, great reporter. I love that guy. I think he's a really good man as well. But he's been covering, along with you, these kinds of corruption, regardless who's in charge, who's in power at the time, for many years. You mentioned when he was at WDIV, at Channel 4, and he's doing it at WJR. And good for him for bringing you on to talk about this, because very few people will talk about these things nowadays. It is late, right? It's too late to deal with this effectively. But no, I applaud you, and I applaud Kevin Dietz. The investigative journalism is gone. You're an investigative journalist. Kevin Dietz is an investigative reporter, but they're not working at these mainstream outlets any longer. Why is that? Why has that got it? Because they don't want to uncover. It's embarrassing to those people who they are in bed with.
Before you were at 103.5,
yes,
4 to 7 in the afternoons.
Yeah.
You were at WJR. You co-hosted with Kevin.
Yeah.
What happened at WJR, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, there's a couple stories. There's times were rough, financially. So there was an economic decision that had to be made. So they had to get rid of somebody, and my contract was up. So they said, we're going to identify you. What was not known prior to this, and now they somehow deny this, but there are witnesses in these meetings. They purposely told me, so I left the journalism industry, the news objective reporting industry, because I saw how corrupt it was, and I got into opinion talk, commentary, analysis, the way I saw it, and I tried to bring it in, base my opinions on data and facts and the way my worldview is. And they wanted me to do this. This is why I was hired at WJR. An election year comes around, and it's 2024, and everything shifts. Okay, it's an election year. Originally, they wanted you to go all out. We need to find out who's trustworthy, who's not, who's lying, who's telling the truth. Most people are lying. So you ask questions that puts them in a position that might feel awkward to them, but you want your audience is the one you're serving, right?
Tough questions.
Tough questions. Yeah. Like, okay, so you say there is absolutely zero fraud. This was the safest election, and I believe Trump lost that election, but to say there's zero fraud when we have these examples here, there, and the what? Well, and then you become a conspiracy theorist when you're just trying to,
No, let's stop there. You believe Trump lost, but there's a lot of problems that need to be fixed. Correct. To reinstill some faith in the process. Again, 100% agree.
Correct. And I didn't know you were down at the TCF Center at the time.
I was captain of absentee precinct 123.
And you didn't witness any fraud, but that doesn't mean fraud didn't occur.
Thank you. Say that again. So stop sending me direct messages going, I forgive you for 2020. I'm like, dude, they didn't truck in a bunch of ballots. What do you want me to say?
Right. So you didn't witness any of that. And so, you talked to these, even the Republicans who came out, and I know people on both sides who said they did our investigation. There wasn't enough fraud to overturn the election. But those same investigators said, but there was fraud. This was not the safest and freest election in American history. That's not what they said, but the media comes back in and turns it around. Why does the media do that? Well, in my experience, when I was at this other station and I was at the one you just mentioned, these politicians were calling and harassing and intimidating people. We're not coming on your show. And then until that Tom Jordan changes his tune. He's more Democratic friendly. And I thought, this is wrong. And my superiors told me the same thing. Listen, if we want to have them on, we've got to be friendly. So stop sharing your opinion. Wait until after the interviews. And at the very end, if there's time, maybe 20 seconds, you and Kevin can discuss, what you thought of the interview. 20 seconds worth. He and I were both stunned. It wasn't just me. We were stunned that this was now the new directive during an election year.
So let me pause you there a second.
Yes.
You got grief from the right for not wholly buying into the election was stolen stuff.
I didn't personally get grief. I think I was just taking an objective look.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
And people were complaining about your objectivity because you weren't buying it. Wow.
Sure.
See? Happens.
Well, listen, you brought something up very important. We have our little phones. We read a headline, which are now emotionally driven headlines. And from that headline, we derive some form of truth, which is not truth. It's based on an emotionally driven opinion that some publisher or headline creator made. And we've got to be smarter. We've got to be like we used to be in the 60s, the 70s, and 80s and go say, okay, read the story.
When that 2020 election came, I sat there and went, how can I be a reporter and do something interesting to people? Because you knew it was going to be shit. Because some of the problems are, I get a dozen absentee ballot applications. It just smells. In France, it's in paper and it's in person. This is France. France.
Yes. They know that fraud occurs.
Who enshrined abortion into their constitution.
Yes.
But say a minor can't do it without an adult with them. So I'm just saying. I knew something was up. It was weird. We totally changed 245 years of how we did this. Mm-hmm. So, okay. And I'm just walking around, mowing my lawn, going, oh, I'm gonna be absentee ballot counter. And then I went down there and they're like, they canceled the class because I came. But it was like the ladies of the revolution, what are the
daughters?
One of the old
virgins of the exile.
They're down there in their Sunday finest, getting ready to do their training, their duty. And they whispered into their ear, come back Monday. And then the ladies came to me and said, it's Monday. So I showed up Monday. And then they had no choice. Yeah. But I helped him in a way by telling the truth. I could have lied. If I would have said suspicious ballots came in, not 150,000. If I would have lied, I'd be on the talk show circuit. I'd be doing lectures. I'd have millions.
It would have been to your benefit.
But it wouldn't have been to all of our benefit.
No.
So I wasn't going to do it. It was a pretty good story.
It's a great story.
I appreciate that. So.
Yes.
You landed on your feet.
Oh, yeah. I always believed that whatever happened, I have this attitude that the best is yet to come in life. I believe it. It's just not something that makes me feel better.
That's because you're a Christian, and when you die, you're going to glory.
I'm going to heaven.
So you got that to look forward to.
Only because of Jesus. It's not because I'm not a good guy. Like people say, well, you Christians, you think you're all that. No, actually. But I am being changed. I'm different than I was 35 years ago. I'm different than I was 10 years ago. I'm different than I was 5 years ago. And I'm learning as I go. But yeah, I believe Jesus absolutely is my hope.
Do you believe in the Trinity?
I do, yeah.
See, I'm a Catholic, but it's logically difficult for me. But it
is.
I don't read anywhere with Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. I don't read that in the Scripture anywhere. I do believe this. The Almighty is the Almighty. Mm-hmm. And His Son came in the flesh.
Yes.
He is the Son
Yep.
of God.
Yep.
And then he died and he went back, and okay, so he comes back during rapture.
Yeah.
And the Holy Ghost is symbolized by the dove.
Yes.
It's the way the communication between the temporal world and the everlasting.
You have a pretty good understanding of
It's
this.
like a telegraph. So
Yeah.
I don't believe it's one because I don't believe you can kill God.
But
God is the whole.
But yeah, he is. There's
The Son
one. There's
came
one
with the
God.
message.
But the Bible specifically says, the Father Yahweh,
Yeah.
He is God. God is one. And then the Bible specifically says Jesus is God, and the Bible specifically says the Holy Spirit is God as well. And yet there's somehow distinct personalities, but all one. It's like this beautiful
We're
picture.
all God. We're all creatures of God.
We're
So
creatures of God. We've been made by Him,
if
but we're not all
Jesus was
God.
the Son of God,
Yeah.
then I'm like the really great, many generations,
black sheep,
grandson of God. And, we interbred, and
It's
I'm a little
better
bit
than that.
nuts. You know
It's
what I mean?
better than that. Actually, Jesus says you are His, in a sense, He's your Lord, but you're His brother if you come to Him. So you are actually not a grandson or great-great-great-grandson of God. You are His son because you're in Christ. Christ makes you... It's true.
Well, the guys hanging out with them are his brothers. Like, we're brothers, and me and Mr. X are brothers, and me and Mark are brothers. But, like my grandpa ain't my brother. My grandpa's my grandpa.
Correct.
You got to respect grandpa.
Correct.
But
that's a good distinction.
there's a hole.
Yeah.
It was great because the clouds were coming by the other day.
Yeah.
Just one of those magical winter days. It was moist, but it was cold. And the clouds were really like, you could almost touch them. And sort of was trailer. You could almost see the molecules of water. One of those days.
Yeah.
And you're like, look at that power.
Beautiful.
The whole.
Yeah.
That's the Lord. That's the Almighty.
That's the creation of the Lord. Like God created that.
Right. That's how I see him.
Yeah.
Okay. Geez. Just thinking of that. Just thinking of the power of the water and like how it can destroy your house.
I know.
Fire can destroy your house.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does, and you call the insurance company, don't do it alone. Don't do it alone, because they'll try to swindle you. Because insurance companies are in the business of
swindling you,
making money.
Ah, yes, okay.
Making money.
And
so when the adjuster, right, Mr. X, you're in the construction world.
They're in the business of saying no.
They're in the business of saying no, and you standing there like a dope because you don't know anything about fire damage inside the wall. You can't see it. They're not telling you. So what you do is you hire your own insurance lawyer. The dude that knows what he's talking about, and that is the Public Adjusters Midwest, right? You go to callpamfirst.com or 855-975-2020. Here's how it works. They handle the entire claims process, repping your interest. They get you more money, and they can provide a list of contractors who will work at a 10% discount. Nothing out of your pocket. Don't, right, Mr. X? When they show up, don't say it's like court, don't say the wrong thing and ruin your claim. Right?
Don't say anything more than what you're asked.
Right. What you do, yeah. No, what you do is like, hold on a second. 855-975-2020. Get on over here. Costs you nothing. And when I met with these guys, they wanted to advertise on the show. They gave you a card. It's like a metal card. I gave it to my wife. I said, this is when the bad day comes. Hopefully it never does. I said, put that in with the insurance papers. Put it in the safe. Because I don't have anybody advertise on here if I don't believe in their product. Mm-hmm. This, and by the way, because I ask such good questions and they're very enamored with me, a special for MBN listeners, call them up, 855-975-2020. Go on down there in Ferndale. They'll look at your insurance papers to see if you're covered with what you need. You know, like, do you have that overflow insurance? Right?
Yep.
If you don't have it, you effed. Tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Then yours flooded?
Yeah, 2014.
How much was the
August
total
11th.
damage?
15 grand.
Yeah, that's what you think, but you didn't call Pam.
I
It
know.
was
I could've
probably
gotten more.
80 grand.
I'm just marveled at that segue. That's a glorious segue.
It was pretty good.
Fucking professional, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It just came out of nowhere.
I could see the wheels
It was
turning.
like from God directly.
Or from Pam.
Hey, Bernie Yaskovitz at XG Service Group. He's also got other things going on. I got that platelet and plasma.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Treatment.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's got it's a big fitness center in Toledo, man. Top-notch doctor there. Used to work at the Cleveland Hospital. It's not bad. I'll give it. But we'll get to that another time. This is XG Service Group for all of your wireless needs. Well, you know, when it rains, the power goes out. And when the power goes out, the internet goes out. When the internet goes out, I call my friend Matt and Bernie at XG Service Group. Look at Bernie here on his hands and knees, giving it everything he's got. Look at that man crack. So busy, he forgot to wear a belt. There's Matt right there getting the board together. That's 734-245-4100 if you need Matt and Bernie to come take care of your voice over internet, your security cameras, off-campus access control, Wi-Fi, and cameras for homes and business. They'll design it for you. You got restaurants, they do drive-through systems, railroad cameras for public safety, total wireless camera systems for your home and business. Yeah, that's right. Call XG Services at 734-245-4100. There you go. It's a hell of a show, isn't it?
I personally believe that if you're more concerned about your pants falling down than you are your tech services, you're not a serious tech service technician.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
They rewired this. It kept going out.
Good job.
Bang.
Yeah.
Never had a problem since, have we?
No, not at all.
We got Matt to come in here and bang.
That's a genius. Yep.
Seamless. All right. We're here with Tom Jordan, newsman, 103.5. Afternoons 4 to 7, Monday through Friday, and Bible study teacher on Sunday.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
My man, clean living. So to be clean and honorable to people, let's mention a few good reporters in town, because there are. I just think it's the leadership of these freaking papers. You got to tune this up, man. We got to be fair and honest and down the middle. Teresa Baldas at the Free Press.
Right.
Oh man, she's like. She could be anywhere in the world.
Pretty good husband as well. She has.
ML Elric.
Yep.
But Teresa Baldas, many of us suspected, and it was through Teresa's work, but lawyers and everybody suspected that there was something wrong with the Crumbly prosecution. You know, their son shot up Oxford High, and the parents are the first ones to do prison time for involuntary manslaughter for not keeping an eye on their kid. Right, maybe encouraging this, right? Big one for Karen McDonald, the Oakland County prosecutor who now wants to be your Attorney General of Michigan. But a complaint has been filed with the Attorney Grievance Commission, not by a small person. This person is a 30-year prosecutor, Dial, I believe her name is.
Yeah, yep.
Former
Deal or Dial, yep.
Yeah, Deal Dial, never met her. But she was the former president of the Michigan Bar Association. She was on the Judicial Tenure Commission, which rings up judges. Remember No Shame in My Game, Wade McCree?
Oh, yeah.
Judicial
Hot
Tenure
dog.
Commission. Hot dog. No shame in my game. So she filed a grievance against McDonald. Here's saying that she believes that McDonald fostered a must-win environment during the Crumbly prosecutions and engaged in misconduct that included withholding evidence from the defense. In this case, proffer agreements that protected two school employees. So the school's not going to be held to account here. So if you tell me what I want to hear, we're not going to prosecute you or hold that against you. And then didn't give that information over to the defense attorneys. You could be disbarred for that shit.
Yeah, right. That's bad.
That's a no-no. Also, that despite a gag order being in place, that they hired a couple of public relations firms, right, to do press conferences, interviews, muddy up the jury pool, right? Get the smell of they're guilty on this before they even get into court. And the former president of the Bar Association said she believed that until she went through the facts of this case, and maybe not, right? And don't think that this woman is some Tom Jordan over here, a little right of center, you know. She's a Democrat, and she actually donated to McDonald's campaign for county prosecutor. So it gets weird. And then finally,
it gets awkward.
Despite the gag order, McDonald allowed a documentary crew from Hulu to sit in on their meetings, their strategizing, going over the information, and that the producer of that Hulu documentary was a cousin of one of the main prosecutors in McDonald's office.
That's insane.
You got some habeas corpus issues here. This is nuts.
So Tresa Baldas found this out, and she reported on it.
She covered the trial. Yeah, you know,
she knows
because she's so well sourced.
Yeah,
she's getting. You know, this is private stuff. It's hard to get complaints.
Yeah,
because the people filing the complaint, you don't get it from them.
Listen, there were people like her. We would have her on when I was over at JR with Kevin, and we would have her on, loved having her on, and ML Elric as well, because they really cared about the craft of journalism. I don't care what your political bent is or your bias. Everybody has a bias, but the craft of journalism used to be very serious about having a discipline of objectivity. It's discipline. It's learned. You have the tendency as a human being to want to gravitate to what you personally care about. But as a reporter, you can't do that. You've got to shove it all out.
100%. So, you know, I don't want to guess out loud like Teresa's political leanings.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Sure.
But
it doesn't matter because you could read her stuff. It's good.
She might want to vote for Karen McDonald, but hey, I got to do the job.
Correct.
If you want to be popular and in the cool crowd, don't do this job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I know. But I've known many of these reporters from years ago and today who do want to be popular with those in power.
100%.
And they want to befriend the mayor, the governor, the secretary of state, the attorney general.
They want to go to Davos and be the champ.
I want to be there.
I went to Davos when it was in New York City after 9/11 as a jester to New York. And I went with Arthur Sulzberger, the CEO, publisher of the New York Times and the owner. And he didn't mind me fucking with him.
I want to ask you guys this because I feel like a lot of it just takes a lot of time, right? Like doing the McDonald's story takes time. Doing the training to watch over the ballot counting takes time. Is it simply a lot easier just to hobnob with these people?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's dangerous.
And fun. People think, listen.
I don't know about fun, but
well, no, it's fun for these journalists. They go to J school thinking they want to be a journalist because they want to change the world. I've talked to these students, and this is what they're being taught. They're being taught to be an activist and to get into these echelons of authority and power and whatnot. So to them, it's a fun, but a calling of a reporter like you means you're going to put in 16, 17, 18 hours a day, working nights in like rooms like this with your little typewriter and your little press badge on your forehead.
No, right,
and knocking it out.
No, it goes like this. What's up, X? Oh, man, shit, about it. I go, no fucking way. Yeah, I go, when? Okay, well, how does that work? Okay, do you got any documents on that? Yeah, let me meet up with you. And that's why we're meeting up. You know, I mean, somebody said to me, what do you do for a hobby? What's your social life? I go, this job. You meet all kinds of people. You go all kinds of places, but if it's just one place you want to go, the job ain't for you.
No.
Because we're on the positive reporter tip right now.
Correct.
There's two other, like these guys. Ross Jones at WXYZ.
Yep.
I'm sure you've had him on.
We had him on, and he was covering Charles Pugh like you were covering Charles Pugh. He followed him like you did to New York City. When the former city councilman of Detroit fled, like, overnight or something, he just took off.
Pedophile. Convicted pedophile, you could say it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all known throughout the news media, and the news media buried it for years.
Oh, Fox do the whole fucking
They knew
time.
he was showing photos to fellow reporters. Look at this kid.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, that's probably I shouldn't have gone there, but
I thought this was the positive part.
Yeah, this is fucking this guy. So this is a Christian. Okay, so you got Ross Jones.
Yeah, good guy
who blew this up, and
Positive.
George Hunter, who's adding more pieces to it. George Hunter's fantastic.
Love him.
Friend of the show, friend of mine.
Had him on as well.
So yeah, now we got Detroit Police Commission. It's got no less than 3 ex-cons on it, right? And a newly elected commissioner, what the hell is that guy? I forget. I talked to him yesterday. I'll explain. Darius Morris. He just got elected to the commission. Now, Mr. Morris in District 3 is an unopposed write-in candidate, so he won by a landslide. Was released from probation for assaulting a Warren police officer, and threatening to shoot him in 2023 while wearing a police badge, and he wasn't a cop. He also served 2 years in prison after pleading guilty in 2009 to impersonating a public official and forgery. And then in 2021, he was pulled over by the Detroit police, and again, he was wearing a badge. He said he was a police chaplain, and he had a firearm on him, which, if you're an ex-con, you can't be carrying a weapon.
Can't do that.
And so all of this has come out, and I believe they got their hands on the body cam.
Yeah.
You got a little taste of it?
Watch this weasel.
You guys out 11, right? Yeah, this is the NPOs over there, Sergeant Spruce. I do a lot of programs with Sergeant Spruce out of number 11. And this one we did a certificate ceremony with the chief of police of Madison Heights.
You sure you never been in prison?
No, sir.
He probably overdosed a lot of cops with that badge. So
Yeah.
Real quick to pull it out, show us all his pictures of him on the phone, all that stuff. He's got 2 prior felonies, a CCW.
He sure was over that shit.
Yeah.
I think he got out of the car with it too. Who gave you this badge?
There goes the badge.
Hello, eBay.
Bishop Moore.
Okay.
Jeez.
So, now...
Good work, Ross.
Mr. Morris resigned, and then he unresigned, and then he called me. And he wants to do an interview, explain his full side of things. And I said, sure. So we'll bring you that next week.
Good.
But, with all full disclosure, he called me. Fair shake. I'm known as a fair shake guy.
Absolutely.
But this is a ongoing story, uncovered and exposed by Ross Jones, and George Hunter's added the pieces, and just to acknowledge that.
Yeah, Ross and George, great job. And I think it's great you're going to have them on. Listen, that's the thing. We talk to everybody. You should talk to everybody, regardless of what you feel about that individual as a reporter or podcast or whatever. Bring them on. Talk to them.
Now, that's the bad and the good. And here's the bad. Take you out here. As newsrooms collapse, and they got no one to blame but the internet and themselves, social media influencers are now saying social media is not media in the old school sense. So there's guys out there running around, we're the news now, we're the news, but it's not vetted, it's not true. So what do we want to run first?
Oh, let's run Don.
Okay, so Don Lemon on the left. Can you believe Don Lemon, when he was on CNN, was their number one show within the advertising demo? Not in terms of viewers, but in terms of younger viewers?
I don't believe
Can
that.
you believe this guy?
Not at all.
Okay, so everybody knows by now he went to Minneapolis. He just came across, right, a protest group who just happened to know about a ICE sympathizer who's a preacher in a church, and here's what Don uncovered.
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
Yeah. We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus, because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world, is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
What? Wait, what? Push him?
Did you push him?
He sounded like Tracy Kornak.
Yes.
Exactly.
Don't touch me.
Don't kill me.
Don't touch me.
Not only that,
Don, here, man. Here's the thing, dude. It's implied consent to be able to go into the church, but it's private property.
Yes.
And when you're asked to leave, you leave.
Yes.
That's the law.
Yes.
Public property, you could be arrested for interfering with a public meeting.
Yes.
So where did this guy learn anything?
Well, I think what you're missing is it's just easy to walk in there with a cell phone camera and start berating people instead of maybe looking at what the law might be.
With all these church shootings, you're doing this is irresponsible.
Hands off, man.
So
Yeah.
one of the things I was saying, it's like, okay, he there is grateful there was not a shooting in that church, because churches are attacked on a semi-regular basis. Now, people storm in during the services with guns and they open fire. And I know a lot of churches have security teams, and they're looking for this. They're waiting for it to protect their flock, as you were saying. There could have been shots fired against because they were very aggressive. And for Don Lemon to say, listen, I'm being very respectful here. You just interrupted the sermon as he was going through the book of John. That was not respectful. And to the whole First Amendment thing, he's citing the First Amendment. He's violating the First Amendment right there. It also includes freedom to worship without intimidation. I mean, they are protected under the First Amendment as well. So I think the guise of journalism that he's using, he's an activist.
He's a fucking douchebag.
He's an activist.
Saw that guy in Ferguson, man. You know what I mean? Like, just sitting there pumping the crowd. He's up on his box. With this coat with mink fringe or whatever the fuck it was. And, you know, when I went looking for Charles Pugh in Harlem, you know, I got a tip, you know, he might be visiting Don Lemon.
Yeah.
And we waited for Don Lemon to come out, and he came out. He and his little purse dog are wearing the same coat.
Oh, that's cute.
And I go, have you seen Charles Pugh? And he never answered. He says, who are you? I gave him my card. Of course, I'm not going to air it because he didn't answer the question. And then by the time I got back to Detroit, CNN's lawyers had called Fox's lawyers and like, I was just asking a question.
Right, which you're allowed to do.
And hanging wanted posters of Charles Pugh all over Harlem. Suffice it to say, he wasn't welcome in Harlem.
Now, I would have gained some respect for Don Lemon if while he was in there, he started to show what the mob was actually doing, like their misconduct, their violation of the laws by storming this church. That would have been more of an objective look if you're going to be a reporter. Okay, they're violating these laws by storming this church and intimidating the parishioners who are here, the congregants, interrogating them for what? For going to church? I mean, what did they do wrong?
And another prominent lefty reporter who never worked the streets posts at some point about stand your ground in the castle doctrine and somebody come knocking on your door. Again, dipshit. It's called implied consent. There's a sidewalk. There's a doorbell. You're allowed to go knock on the door. That's the law. If you're asked to leave, you must leave. That's it. Know the law. Fucking guy. Oh, by the way, you didn't just come across these protesters because now there's video of Don bringing Starbucks and donuts to these people. You meant to do this because you're a has-been and you're just trying to get some click. You're going to get charged. Do you think he'll raise money on that?
Yeah.
Like I'm being persecuted?
Oh, of course. He's already saying
the left doesn't like this.
No. Well, here's what my concern. First of all, he's using this as to say, if you criticize me, you must be a homophobic and racist.
No, you're a dipshit.
No, we don't like the fact that you stormed a church and you interfering with a worship service. That's dangerous, actually, to do that. But the other thing is, my concern is that you got a lot of young journalism students in school right now watching this guy call himself a journalist, and this is who they want to become. And you're recruiting activists to get into the journalism industry because they wrongly think this is how you're supposed to do it.
Okay, here on the right, here's another bad reporter. Guy's wrong a lot. His name's Benny Johnson. You know Benny?
Yeah.
Now, Benny unearthed massive voter fraud in California. Roll it, man.
Yo, what's up, guys? We're outside of a very important place here in California. You'll see it's just home to a porta-john and a giant empty parking lot. But inside of this empty parking lot is something really important in the state of California. As you can see here, we have registered voters. 26 registered voters for this exact location, 100 Sunset Avenue in Venice. 26 registered voters. Right here, according to the registrar and the Secretary of State. 26 people registered to a porta-john and an empty parking lot. Where do their ballots go exactly? So who's picking up the ballots? Who's voting for the people in this lovely porta-john empty lot? That's the question. I think you know the answer.
Now, also in his post, he said they voted. So I wrote him. I said, they say my first rodeo, I've been digging into this in Michigan, absolutely correct about ghost voters being registered to abandoned houses and stuff. But I found one dead guy that voted, and I haven't found these ghost voters having cast ballots.
See what's missing in that is that he's asking the question And then he implies the answer.
Right.
And he says, I think you know the answer. Well, no, we don't know the answer because you didn't show us what the answer was. You didn't go far enough. This is like the beginning stages of a story of research. Okay, this is kind of suspect. Why are all these people registered to vote at a porta-john or in a parking lot?
It's a good story.
But then you follow through with it. Like,
It's
okay,
a good story.
It's a couple dots here. Can you connect those dots? I don't
If you can't, don't.
Then don't put it out there. And that's where the citizen journalists get it wrong. They think that they have already come to the conclusion prior to even going out there, right?
Yes.
You presupposed the outcome.
So that's the wink and the nod, like you know what to do. It's like, no, I don't know what to do, dude. Show me the whole thing. It's the reason he doesn't just go, look, 26 people registered at a porta-john. That's ridiculous, right? But that's been done. We've all been doing that. There's nothing new to add here.
Your night down at TCF, what we're also often told is there was a truck with ballots.
There was.
And then what?
Okay, then
that's what but they don't. They make the connection. They presuppose what
there
that
it
means.
is.
That's the evidence. I mean, well, no, there's a truck.
But you
with
know,
ballots.
I wrote to those people over there. What's that? Gateway Pundit.
Yes.
I go, okay. If you notice, there's 62 boxes. We'll call it 60 for math. Physically, only 350 ballots can fit in one of those boxes. That's no more than 20,000 ballots. Way far cry from 150. Number two, they told you this may take some time to gather them all up and truck them here. So it wasn't anything nefarious. Three, by law, the only people allowed to open those boxes are the precinct captains. I got one of those 62 boxes. Want to know how many were in mine? 11.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So there's an explanation. I'm not saying one way or the other. I know there's a lot of non-trust out there.
The questions still have not been answered. That's my concern. It's like I don't know where to land on this because I haven't seen the connection yet.
See, now you're just a talk show host.
Yes.
So
I am.
I'm begging you to keep it cool, and you're only reading what I can bring you.
Yes.
So don't take it any farther than that. There's too many people like these guys doing that.
Right. You take it that next level where there hasn't been a conclusion even outlined, even shown to you. There are assumptions based on these questions. These aren't rhetorical questions. These have to be answered, and they're not being answered.
I don't blame Workaday Joe, though. You know what I mean? Because, again, as we started at the top of the program, we've lost belief.
Yeah.
And mainstream media, and we don't know where to turn. Okay, I'm gonna thank Tom Jordan, 103.5, Monday through Friday at 4 to 7. You heard him. It's a great show. I've been on your shows before. Before we go, this is what work's called. Little update on my lawsuit. After paying $3,147.90 for the nursing home documents that the Whitmer administration was supposed to have given to the Department of Justice, the lawyer being Dana Nessel for the state of Michigan, still hasn't given them to me. They've responded saying, we sent them to you, and now I'm caught up in court. When they sent that, the reply, two things. If you did send them to me, why didn't you attach it to your reply? Where's the paperwork? Number two, why was it just a signature and not an affidavit? I swear, like I just did, I swear I have no knowledge of getting those. I searched all my boxes. I got it stamped. Ball's in your court. I'm coming. There it is. Madam, you've been served.
Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum dum. Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum. Dana.
All right, now I'm done.